The string is a straight line, and we're going to have 3 angles that we can approach striking the string at. If you pick parallel to the string, and I call it picking flat, that means that when you strike the string, the pick strikes flat against the string. It doesn't just hit on one edge or the other. Now that's an effective approach on the bass strings because then you don't get a scrape. Listen to what's going to happen if I have the pick angled a whole bunch. Hear all that scraping? Now unless I intentionally want that, I'm not going to play that way. So on the bass strings, you want to pick flat. Now obviously a larger diameter string is going to make more noise. Hear the scrape come in? But each string is a different diameter. Each string is really a different instrument. It's a different timbre. So you want to approach each string with its own particular angle. I know I'm nitpicking here, but this is how you look at your potential for different sounds. As you get over to the treble strings, picking absolutely flat is a bit harsh, rather strident sound. I mean, I don't particularly like picking real flat on the treble strings. Earlier on, when I was young, I was real concerned about clarity and power, and I did that. But as I got older, I said, no, let's get some tone going here. All right? Then you have 2 other angles that you can strike the string at. If you let that pick angle, and you just let your hand relax, or you pull your wrist up, notice in the video how I'm pulling my wrist up, actually toward the 6th string side of the bridge. Then I'll be striking the string at an angle, this way, which I would call playing on the next side of the pick. When I play a downstroke, that means that the next side, if you're looking down at the guitar and you're right-handed, the left-hand side of the pick is striking the string. The right-hand side of the pick is not, and we're talking about on a downstroke. That gives you your warmest, thickest tone. It's very effective over on the treble strings, but remember, use it with discretion on the bass strings. Now, while I'm talking about how to hold the pick, I could go on a big, long dissertation about this because there are many different approaches here. You have the floating hand positions like McLaughlin, Sean Lane, and a lot of great players, Pat Martino. And then you have other approaches where your hand's loose or you're resting a reference on the pick guard, and again, it depends on the instrument. I've got a lot of guitars that don't have pick guards with fancy wood, so I'm not going to scrape them up with my nails, so I'll float my hand. But it affects your sound whether you're playing rhythm or lead. And in this case, what I would suggest is that you just let your hand totally relax and just tap on the pick guard like that. Then let your hand just glide. Now I have nails from playing classical, so they slide right on that pick guard. Don't hyperextend and brace and tense up those fingers. Just relax them. Then when you pick, draw the pick off of the string. Don't grip the pick hard and slam it through the strings. Let's start first with you drawing the tone off. Think of a violin player. You wouldn't want to see him sawing away. It wouldn't be a very good tone. You draw it off just like a bow on the strings, so the same thing here. Notice how the picking action is the first finger and the thumb. Okay? Work on that, and that takes you up to a certain speed. Then there's going to come a point where you'll lock up. Now, I'm not going into a big technical thing here about speed, but there is a point where you have to lock up your first finger and your thumb, and then the picking action is more of a rotation from the wrist. That's speed. Let's talk about that in another lesson. But tonally, this drawing of the pick off the string is a great way to get your soft sound. So when you sing, you don't always scream, hopefully. You want to have a dynamic range. So you want to practice playing a lick softly, and I'll go with a little bit of gain here. So here I'm putting staccato back in there where I put the pick back on the string. But notice how that note just popped out. Dynamics on the guitar are accomplished by how hard or how loosely you squeeze the pick. Listen very closely. Do you see that's all first finger and thumb? Has nothing to do with the other muscles. In the next segment, I'm going to elucidate more about pick angles, and we're going to talk about how to get some of those great Texas overtones.